this. Andrew Hammond, the Hamburglar. He's stealing pucks, shots, and throwing burgers in the stands. We're going to be talking about him and how the Ottawa Senators are more than back in it. All that and more in the crease. Me, Dead on Dave. Tommy C. Do this. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Crease with Tommy C. This week, we're only going to be doing one live show. I'm actually going to spring this on good old Dead on Dave now. One live show this week. That'll be Wednesday night at 4:30. Otherwise, we're going to be cutting shows early because of my school thing. And when the clocks get set back in Europe and there's a 6-hour time difference, we'll be able to do In the Crease live just about every week going, assuming there's no problems or what have you. But for this week and this week alone, 3 out of the 4 days will be recorded. And then we'll get them up there. Actually, as soon as possible. We don't have to wait till it's 10:30. We don't have to wait till the 4:30 release. We'll get them up there right as soon as possible. And I'll put a promo out for the live show on Wednesday just to remind you all so you can call in, come in. That being said, a big night in the National Hockey League. Well, I don't know if it's a big night, but it just sounds better to say that, right?
Mediocre night in the National Hockey League.
Well, I wouldn't even call it mediocre. It was another night in the National Hockey League. Of course,
Heating up.
Of course.
Heating up.
Andrew Hammond of the Ottawa Senators has actually done what Devin Dubnyk has done over there in Minnesota North Star land. He has, check this out, last night he stopped 27 to 28 Philadelphia shots. He improved his record to 10-0-1 this season. He has a 1.39 goals against average, a 90.955 save percentage, and 5 points back from Boston in the final wild card playoff spot. Holy Christmas, what a story this is. It just shows you how important having depth at goal, or just really having a strong goalie, is. This is absolutely nothing short of amazing. This is a team that fired their coach. This is a team that we forgot about even in February. I mean, you got to win the important games in February, and they weren't on the radar. They've just been essentially forgotten about. What a story this is, Dead on Dave.
Absolutely. And the thing to not forget is the fact they're 8-1-1 in their last 10. Had Boston not been as equally as good at 7-2-1 over that same stretch, they would have surpassed them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Ottawa's playing a hell of a game right now. They might be running out of time. We're getting really close to the end of the season. What were we, 10 games, 11, 12 games away?
Yeah, something
Could be
like
running
that.
out of time because Boston's playing good hockey right now as well.
Let's take a look. That thing is running in the background. Let's take a look at Ottawa, where they stand right now. But I mean, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it this way. Now the gap is actually closing. Especially, look, let's face it, the Florida Panthers had a big loss against the Rangers last night. That they need to gain ground, and they're playing quite well too. Philadelphia, New Jersey, Columbus, Carolina, Toronto, they're out. But the thing is, Washington and Boston have been playing reasonably well. Washington a little bit of a slide. Boston's keeping it together. Let's take a look at Ottawa. 5 points out. It's still, I think you're right.
We got 13 games left.
The thing is, look at how many teams. Like you have Philadelphia, Florida, and Ottawa are all over 500. Boy, you might have a situation where 2-3 under 5. Even New Jersey's at 500. Look, they got to keep doing what they're doing. The Hamburglars got to keep stealing. You got to wonder sometimes. You bring a guy up from the minors like this under certain circumstances. You sort of wonder, like, what Ranger fans are going through right now with is this
Talbot?
Is this going to? Well, at least look, Talbot's been the backup goalie since Marty Biron left. Almost 2 years ago, and it's a little different. He's kind of been slid in. This is a little like a Devin Dubnyk. He's kind of placed there and picked it up, and you're always kind of waiting. Well, when's this going to stop? When are these guys going to figure him out? He's sort of like
when is he going to come back to earth?
When's the scouting report come in? Where is his weaknesses? We don't know that. It's too soon to tell. Andrew Hammond's not a name that I would be saying at this point in the season, but definitely good luck to Ottawa. I like their stuff. Last 3 in a row, won the last 3 in a row, and the last 10, 8-1-1. Keep doing it, and hope that Boston and Washington start slipping. That being said, I don't think it's going to happen. I think
I don't think it's going to happen either.
No.
I think Boston's going to hang on to that slot. Florida needs to get their asses in gear right now. They need to make a run and hope Ottawa comes off of this hot streak. But Ottawa's, give them credit. It's something to build off of for next year.
It's a good sign. There's no doubt about it, especially considering the horrid start to the season they had. Like I said, losing a coach, and their goaltending problems, injuries, all that good stuff. Mika Zibanejad has really held it together over there. No, you got to give him credit. He's been, when they were down, he was playing hard, and they got this kid right now, and hopefully this team could make some deals in the offseason, make this team stronger. But I don't see, when I'm looking at the teams that are ahead of them, like Boston and Washington, these are heavily experienced teams in making and finding the way to make the playoffs. They're used to this run. So they're used to this being in this position. Boston's looked a lot better. Every time they seem like they're going to actually fall apart, they find a way to pull it together. They're not too many years off a Stanley Cup championship. They're not too many years off a Stanley Cup final. You got to believe. You got to believe that Boston's going to do it. Same thing with Washington. They've been shaking at times this year, but Ovechkin's coming into his own. They love the coach. They're falling into his system. They make the playoffs most every year, so I really think I think the East is tied up. I really think the only questions the only questions in the East are the Rangers have made a little distance. Now they're 5 points ahead of the Islanders. They're 2 points ahead. They're the best team in goddamn hockey, and they're ahead in the President's Trophy. Although I don't know if they're going to hang on to it, and I don't know how important that is. The President's Trophy.
They're tied with Anaheim right now.
There's not tied with the they're tied with the Anaheim. Yes, they both have 95 points. Certainly, the New York Rangers are one of the elite teams in hockey, not just in bringing in revenue. They have proved that. I do worry about they kind of made me look bad. I really thought this face-off stuff is going to really end up biting them in the ass. I still think
in the playoffs.
I still think in the playoffs because there's a lot more faceoffs to take over 82 games than there is in a 7-game series, which might only be 4 if you don't win those key faceoffs, especially on the penalty kill. If you can win faceoffs on the penalty kill, that's you really could shut a great team down, especially if you're going to go up against good teams like Tampa Bay Lightning and the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, like the Detroit Red Wings, you don't want to give those guys power plays for sure.
Winning faceoffs on the penalty kill it's critical.
Huge.
It's crucial.
Is it just
crucial?
Is it just bizarre? Flipping into the New York Rangers that they brought over Yandel. Nobody was talking about an offensive defenseman. I'm not unhappy to have the guy. I think the guy's a talent. I think there's probably a lot more. His game is going to grow over time. We're going to see playing with a better team, getting used to a different defense. But I just don't understand why the Rangers' upper management and seemingly the team too. The team we need one more offensive. I think this came from the players. That's my gut feeling that Girardi and McDonough's like, we need a guy that can carry the puck and get that key assist. Why wasn't it faceoffs? Is it just not that important to Alain Vigneault? I mean, do you have any idea? I'm speculating.
Vermette was out there, and that's what Vermette does. He would have been a great pickup for you guys, but they decided not to go with him.
But you know what it is? It's a very tight team. They're so in love with their centers, and they are good centers. But I mean, this is a big deal, I think, and I wonder if you're going to see if the Rangers get eliminated in the second, even the third round, you're going to see these guys. Well, we knew about the faceoff problem, and I was saying it right away, and you're going to find out none of these guys were saying anything about it. They're just going to. Well, go ahead, Dave.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
you go.
I'm
sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, the interesting thing is the face-off things is definitely a problem. There's no question, but they still are 8th in the league right now in killing the penalty.
Yeah.
So how big of an effect really is it, especially during the penalty kill?
It's the thing is with the playoffs, you can always point to 27 seconds that let down that moment that what have you, and I'm so used to that. And here's the thing, and it's good that they're making a run of the President's Trophy. You want to go in there, armed to the teeth. Have a great regular season, and you want to destroy your team in the first round. You do not want a situation when you're playing 7-game series after 7-game series after, which the Rangers do have a great habit of doing. They like to make it look interesting. Look, the Kings managed to get around it last year. they're an exception from rule. They're also a great hockey team. So I do. I think the Rangers really got to they got to get their stuff together. Flipping back to Andrew Hammond. Good luck, kid. There was a scene where somebody threw a hamburger on the ice and he threw it back, and then the fan ran away, and it was bizarre. And it's just, I don't know. That's puck daddy stuff.
Gotta love hockey. Gotta love hockey.
So
final thought on the upcoming playoff push here. The thing to keep in mind is this year the talent level of teams are so compressed. It's going to be a rough playoff stretch for anybody. So being dominant in that first round is going to be probably as hard as it's been in the past 5 or 6 years, but maybe more critical than ever. I'm in total agreement.
Absolutely, 100%. Let's flip to the Chicago Blackhawks, Elisa's story. Patrick Kane gets a tribute outside of Johnny O'Hagan's Irish Pub in Chicago's Wrigleyville neighborhood. Is that by Wrigley Field?
Yes, it is. It's Wrigleyville. It's right off there on Waveland. It's beautiful.
Okay. The bar's owner, Connor Kelly, he put a little shrine up for old Patty Kane, and it looks like he was been in a terrible car accident from what I can see here. And they're putting on the thing but he's not. And there's a lot of bead poppers over there in Chicago, huh?
Especially in that area.
Yeah. And don't worry, before any Catholics get mad, me and Dave were raised Catholic.
Yes.
Nobody really uses that slur anymore. Bead poppers. No. I love that one.
Bead poppers.
Bead poppers. Bead poppers. No, it's not even that bad.
No, it's not bad.
It's not like saying stuff, child molesters and stuff. Recommendation here from In the Crease of Tommy C. Check out Vladimir Tarasenko's Butte versus the Stars. Recommendation. We can't run videos on it anymore because I gotta make money, yo. That's what this is all about. So check out that game. Of course, the Blues got it together last night. They took the Dallas Stars 3-0. I don't know if you checked that out.
Yeah, I did. I'm taking notice. Is Tarasenko the best shot maker in hockey right now? Is that fair to say? This guy can create his own shot like you just don't see a lot of anymore, and he's really turning my head right now. I am believing in Tarasenko. I know the Russians will always let you down.
Yeah.
But
well, he's certainly. I don't think the talent thing. It's attitude with the Russian player, the average Russian player. It's not necessarily talent and the way they look at the game. I don't know. Tarasenko got hot early. He had his beauty goal against the Rangers, and everybody's talking he's going to be the face of the league and what have you. And then Jersey Jason Lech, to his credit, said, "Wait, everybody calm down." And I think that was reasonable at the time. Everybody calmed down. He does have the skills and the talent. It's the problem is, does the Russian game adapt to the NHL game? Is he able to move and make those moves in the smaller ice areas? Because every time you take a chance like this, every time you do one of those Russian-esque moves, you have an incredible chance of turning over the puck. One thing we know about the NHL, they keep it simple, stupid. Turning over the puck on the blue line, over the blue line, is unacceptable. So
cannot put your defense on an island.
No, you can't. You and I think actually the one of the things is like, well, they do it in Europe. It's bigger rink.
And talent level's not the same either.
I don't know. The KHL's very good. It's a bigger rate. You can afford to turn it over because you might be able to get back in time. There's more space out there. So a turnover is like, do you ever see a turnover in soccer when the ball just kind of drips away because you're playing in a field? It's almost like you're playing a field out there. Where the rink's so small and there's not that much distance, a turnover turns into 2-on-1 like that. So
critical.
I don't know. I'm not accusing. I don't think I've watched Tarasenko enough to say he's turning over the puck. He definitely has the vision. It just matters if he's able to convert and know when and when not to do it. One of the things that I saw early with the AK-27, Alexei Kovalov, who had those filthy hands, who had that talent level, who could see the play, who could make defensemen look ridiculous. He didn't know when and when not to do it. It took him a couple years, and he never really developed into the free-flowing Red Army player that maybe he was built to be just before the wall fell. So he had to adjust his game, and maybe Tarasenko has to do that as well. There are guys that have totally adjusted. Pavel Datsyuk.
Very true.
You never see him turning over the puck, but let's face it, he probably rolls himself back a little bit.
He's a hell of a puck handler too. Datsuk's a hell of a puck handler.
He's Romanian whore, filthy, dirty hands. Dirty. Okay, and we know that. But this also plays to what Igor Larionov was saying. about being creative and allowing these guys to create. So you have to find, and this is up to management. You have to find the balance is, okay, we're going to let them turn over the puck here and there, or when is it unfriggin' acceptable? There's no point in bringing over Russian players or having players like Patrick Kane, who gets a lot of leeway in that area, and Patrick, like Johnny Gaudreau and Tarasenko, if you don't let them do it. Otherwise, they are going to play simple, stupid hockey. But there are Europeans that have gone beyond that, and in North Americans too. Patrick Kane, Jaromir Jagr, he was another one that he was able to do it. He was able to juke guys. I mean, he doesn't have the speed in his step anymore. So it is possible. But my warning to European players, not so much Swedes and Finns are defensive-minded, if you're going to do that, you've got to figure out the way it works. Your judgment has to be better, and that's what it seems to me. Obviously, Vladimir Tarasenko has the skills to be a super-duper highlight reel star, and he can get his hands a little filthier over time.
And it doesn't hurt that he plays on an elite goal-scoring friggin' team.
I know.
I mean,
he's lucky
doesn't
as hell.
hurt.
Look, the Blues are on a slide right now, but they're good. And I do believe they have the talent
from that slide.
I do believe they have the talent to win a Stanley Cup. I do wonder if there's sort of miscues and leaderships, but that's Ken Hitchcock's problem. And and at times maybe David Backes has to take more control. I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there. But when you see reports like, "Hey, we're everybody's agreeing on one thing and going out there and doing another," that's a problem. And why? I
think it's getting corrected.
Oh, yeah, it could be. They're good enough. I have faith in them. Unless they're like one of these Boston Red Sox pre-2004 mega choke teams, which they seem to be the last couple of years, there's no reason. There's no reason they can't win the Stanley Cup. None. Zip. They can beat the Blackhawks. They can beat the Ducks.
Absolutely.
They got to keep their shit together. Yeah. That's what it is. Whatever that means.
Well, they've taken advantage over this Nashville slide, which is just continuing 2-8 in their last 10. And St. Louis has just capitalized. They're now leading the Central Division.
St. Louis 6-3-1 last. Yes, it does look like it's being credited. 6-3-1 in their last 10. They won their last one. But they seem to with the game against Minnesota. I mean, in fairness with Minnesota, Dubnyk is nobody solved that guy. No. But there's really no reason. I got to be honest with you. I'd be furious if I was a Blues fan and they don't have at least a deep run.
I think they're going to. The second round at the very least, probably conference finals.
I don't think it's acceptable unless they go third.
You think? Wow.
Yes. They're that good. There's too much choking in the playoffs. Third round or nothing. Third round or changes. That's the way I feel about that. That's it. Well, I'm from New Jersey, and
I don't think that's. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. Think it's unreasonable? They have the talent. There's no question about that.
Oh, why is that up there? That's not supposed
to
be there.
God, that kid Tarasenko's 23. Jesus.
Oh, he's a kid. He's got a lot of time, and look, he doesn't seem to be the typical type of rushing asshole that we're used to. Real arrogant, thinks he's better than everybody. I don't get that vibe from him. So maybe there's willingness to learn.
He's going to score 40 goals this year.
Is he going to? He's going to have 40 goals this year.
He's going to get damn close. He's got 34 now.
Was he not in the All-Star team? I don't remember him being called. They really got to do something about this. We got a nasty letter for that. We make fun of a rap video. Everything's making fun of Zamis Giggins songs. It's so. I got another. Don't you dare make fun of. First of all, we're making fun of the rap video. Stupid. It's stupid. Second of all, I got to be honest with you. And hats off to Lafia. We had two guys to actually translate the song for us. It wasn't a hit on Lafia. But I will say this: if Lafia's able to do that again next year, we're missing our stars. Something's got to change. Something's got to change because it's not right. The PK Subban, who sells the game better than Zamis Giggins songs, Zamis Giggins songs is a class act, and he may be a future star. I don't want to. It's not my fault. You people are stupid. It's not my fault. Why do I have to adjust my language for you idiots? I never said anything bad about that kid. I said nothing but good things. I said he was a class act. The Huffman said he's a future star, that he's respectable. I never said a fucking thing about that goddamn kid. Stop it. Stop being so stupid. If you really wanted to make fun of me, look at the beginning of the video and see that I made a typo and wrote "the" twice. You fucking idiots.
Other things
that would have been. I wouldn't reply to that comment. I don't have to adjust my thing. The kid probably didn't belong there. And you know who knows it more than anybody? Him! He was embarrassed. But you know what? That's the rules. The Latvians found the way around the lures. Good. I'm glad he got in.
Like American Idol, that's on them. You know, that's
I don't
on
even.
hockey.
I never think. Hey, I'm a fan. I get to pick the All-Star. Yeah. Okay. Look, what does an All-Star ballot look like in Madison Square Garden? Lundqvist, Brassard. Oh man, I don't know. Dan Boyle. I mean, McGash. Look, that's the way it is. So a lot of times it's unfair, even in the best of circumstances, because the bigger teams like Chicago, Toronto, they're going to get more guys in. Let the players pick. God, I'd almost stomach now the reporters know.
Yeah. No, I'd
rather the reporters.
Oh, not the
no,
reporters.
because they'll politicize it. Because then the guys won't get in if he makes a fucking offhand comment.
Look, if you want to give fans a 10% stake in it, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. Give the fans a vote. Nothing wrong. Or let them vote
How about this?
The last guy on the team. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that at all.
25% fans, 25% reporters, 50% players.
There you go. Players and coaches.
Players and coaches, 50%. Their vote counts more. I don't know how you can do that. I'm not too smart. Can't do the math, but whatever. Speaking of math, dead on Dave, let me read this to you. Advanced stats are going to get no further than the insular, insecure analytics community as long as its members write like they're submitting papers to academic journals. Fans have every right to refuse to put their brains through the blender when they're focused to work and torturous. I don't know what that word was. Filled with needlessly complicated terminology and unnecessary verbiage that makes them want to stab themselves in their eye sockets and scoop their contents out into the spoon. I like this writer, whoever he is. And it's not even counting the graphs, the charts that require readers to take an acid trip to make sense of them. Ronnie Shunker, THN. I'll add that. One more thing to that. I agree with you because I'm interested in advanced stats. I guess that's part of the problem. Here's the other part of the problem. The advanced stats community, at least the ones that I've come across are elitist jerk-offs. If you make this about I'm smarter than you, look the math, not only, they may be able to clean up the presentation. In fact, I got less of a problem with them keeping it complicated. It is what it is. You can only dumb something down so much before you're not even learning anything when you're dumbing something down. But here's the biggest. The advanced stats crew, and this goes outside of hockey, seem to be elitist assholes that think they solve the game like it's checkers. That's really the biggest problem, Ronnie. But you're absolutely correct. It would be nice if they simplified it. I'm absolutely thrilled with the NHL adding advanced stats a part of their as a part of their on NHL.com and their analytics stuff. I like the fact that it's actually being and I'm not exactly a pro advanced stats guy. I like the fact they're actually talking about it on Wednesday Night Rivalry and other games. I think that stuff's great. That's fun. It's great. I've not always been a hockey guy. My parents weren't hockey guys. I come from a baseball background. I can grasp this stuff. It's great. But here's the other thing. It's the Ryan Lamperts of the world. It's some of the advanced stat community. And if I had to guess, it's probably the mid-ranking ones. It's not the guys in the top. Because apparently, I forget the guy's name. The guy that came up with this whole advanced stat stuff, the guy that Billy Bean hired, he's apparently still working on formulas and stuff. So it's not over. It's not solved. And that's really the problem. It's solved. Well, Calgary Flames, Edmonton Oilers, so you're not going to convince anybody that this stuff is even worthwhile with your arrogance and the fact that not every formula works.
And here's another point to that, too. There's what's the biggest tool right now in sports to get people to stay interactive with the game?
I guess the net and stuff. No, hashtag. What do you mean?
Fantasy sports right now, which is such a direct tie-in with analytics. It's not even funny. The fantasy sport revolution is fucking hand in hand with advanced stats.
No joke.
Hand in hand. There's a direct correlation between the two, and you can see the line. You can see it. It's there. It's for people to have a connection to this thing, and they're trying to cram it down your throats. Now, I believe advanced stats and analytics have a place in every single sport.
Sure.
It doesn't need to dominate. In fact, it doesn't work most of the time when you dominate, especially in hockey, which we've covered ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum, and the fact that the skates, the ice could be software changes, absolutely everything. Guy could be sick, he could be pissed off with his girlfriend. All these things cannot be calculated. The thing is about the advanced stats that I notice, especially in hockey, it's like, look, we don't need enforcers. I'm sorry, there's still an emotional aspect of the game that probably can never be measured, but would be better suited to be judged by a coach that's just been in a lot of games. A lot of games that advanced stats guys have never. They bought tickets. These guys
That's agenda-driven analytics. To be fair, those are analytics.
It's going to turn people.
We got to get this enforcer out of the game. That's not advanced stats. That's agenda-driven analytics.
It is. It is, and there's so much stuff inside of sports that is agenda-driven. It is hyper-political. The best example I can give you this year was the male ice capades thing in Philadelphia. It just turned out that it was just Adam Proto and Greg Wyshynski that were pissed off about ice girls. The overwhelming majority of people, both men and women, don't care. In fact, I'm glad those girls have a job. And yes, I like to look at their ass. Yeah. It's nice. And I don't think that's exploiting them any more than cheerleaders are. And I don't want to turn into a society where we're living in a Victorian era. Bill Maher said it right this weekend. This country is becoming so politically correct. This planet, it's getting to a place where nobody wants to live.
Yeah.
Unlike Bill Maher can't figure out, it's coming from the left. But I won't get into that. All right, I'll stop that right there. But it's true. It's true. It's still 150,000% true. So I don't want this. So like when you take that, how did I apply that to analytics? It's agenda driven. We figured it out. We don't need the old grizzled hockey guy. That's just not true.
It's not true.
How are you going to relate to people? I mean, look at the situation with Nazem Kadri. They're playing psychologist and daddy with them, and these are all the things you have to do. You can't do that if you're running numbers.
Yep.
One of the biggest complaints about taking off with the great coach and complete jerk-off, who I don't care is dead because he treated his players so badly, and the Red Army team, they said he was a numbers guy. And by the way, the birth of advanced stats may have come from Russia, from what I understand. I'm learning about that right now. And he was a numbers guy, and that's the way he did things. There's definitely something to this.
Sure.
But the players hated it, because they were treated like robots. And that's what I think these guys do. And it's not a surprise to me that the elitists are interested in this, because they tend to be interested in things like the Soviet Union.
It's elitist, numbers, finite, beyond reproach. Sounds about right.
But you know what it is too? It's probably not the guys in the top. I bet something
it's
tells
the middle
me,
guys.
Something tells me that Kyle Dubas is probably not a bad guy.
Probably not.
And
it's guys looking for more power. The guys at the top got the power. They don't care.
They don't give a shit about their little nerd wars.
They're happy with the product. They don't give a fuck.
When you take a guy like Ryan Lampert who sends you he'll tweet something from some advanced stats like, "Hey, look at me! I know the numbers don't lie." How come
the guys who want the game to focus more about them and what they want?
Well, you know what it is? It makes him crazy when a guy like Mike Milbury, and for all his faults, he knows more about hockey than most. Let's face it, and definitely more than more reporters, and certainly Greg Wyshynski, Ryan Lampert, and all those jerk-offs over there. And the guys, he's been on the ground. He says the one thing that he pointed out, he says he just kind of laughs at advanced stats guys. Okay, yeah, sure, puck possession, sure, that's great, but you still got to get in the spots where you can increase your chance of scoring, and that's not really measurable.
And you still got to put it in the back of the net at the end of the day.
That's another thing. That's a talent thing, and I think that they do that. This sort of makes, and I tell you something, there is, from what I can see, there's no connection between fantasy hockey and advanced stats and knowing anything about hockey. That shit's fucking gambling. It is straight up fucking gambling. It's 10 times more skill in online poker. So there's no connection there. And that's what I think these guys do. It's like, I had a good run in fantasy this year. That means I must know something about coaching. It means nothing.
Look what I know.
It's a board game at the end of the fucking day.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You're really good at Monopoly. You think you can run a Fortune 500 company? Go fuck off. Come on. And I think that's all I got. Actually, I wanted to read a thing from Frenchie Ben. He sent us. Frenchie Ben sends all the nice letters. And I want to read one related to the situation with Shot from the Point Live, where we took it in the ass from Dave Rose, getting only a 4. There are some changes.
He was ruthless.
You know what? I got to be honest with you. Although he wouldn't drop it, he really did his job.
He did a great job.
He really did his job. That's why I had him on. I had him on for 2 reasons. A, because it's funny, right? And B, because maybe it is. Maybe we did need a kick in the ass, and then I all tried to freak him out and said, you're beating the fuck out of him, which actually we're starting to catch up. So that's supposed to be the pay-per-view. It's supposed to be the big event. Let's make it the big event. So we're definitely going into a huddle. We're like the St. Louis Blues right now. I'm gonna turn around. Yeah. And interesting love. All right, this is what Frenchie Ben. Here's what Frenchie Ben wrote me. He always writes me nice letters. I couldn't watch the entire show live this Sunday, but I wanted to tell you that Dave Rose's review was way off. The complete show was good. Great Macazar call. That's another thing. Macazar deserves no criticism. He had a good call. Yeah. And then Joe Cronin himself got to tell Dead on Dave that he was live at the same time. I did think that was interesting. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was fun.
Sorry.
You got mad at Jeff for the Mike News thing. Then Dave V called in. Finally, Dave Rose gave his review. Even if you felt the show was bad while doing it, there are some laughable moments. That's true. Yep. I think that's true. Some of the hockey points that were made, the whole Dead on Dave live thing added to the touch of je ne sais quoi, which I think means
je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi? That means whatever, right? He's like whatever.
Is that little, you know what? You know, that little extra something, yeah?
Yeah. Did I say that? What does that mean exactly? Je ne sais quoi?
I have no, je ne sais quoi? What,
I think it means like
what
whatever.
What does je ne sais quoi mean? I have no idea.
I don't know. Well, she don't know. I bet Andy would know. She's not here, though. Really, it's at least 8 out of 10 show. If you get rid of the Jake moving desk and the Jeff's bad mic and the Cronin comment about me, you could have got a 9 out of 10. Good luck in your return to school. It can be tough at your old age. Well, thanks, you 30-year-old Generation X fuckbag. Don't make a Rodney Dangerfield of yourself, Frenchie White Flag Ben. Thank you very much.
I tell you, I get no respect.
No, it's like I think we needed a kick in the ass. I think that's fair. We needed a kick in the ass. That's all right. That's right. We had to like do some stuff early with me and you, so maybe it's their fucking turn. You know, it was for everybody's benefit.
Sure,
it was for everybody's benefit. So and yeah, I'm glad I told them. I'm absolutely glad I told them. Yeah, get your fucking ass in gear, and because you don't want Dave Rose beating you. So a little healthy inter group competition. I don't fucking know.
You look, you didn't. Regardless of anything else, you didn't step over the line. You didn't say anything that wasn't that was horrible or anything like that. You didn't do anything wrong. You called some stuff out that you felt needed addressing. That's called leadership.
Yep. All right. Okay. That's good.
Nothing wrong with it. But Frenchie Ben is right as well. There was a lot of things that I thought the show did well last night. So it's a give and take. It can always be better, but it certainly wasn't a throwaway show.
I know. Me and you have done worse shows than that.
Oh God.
Yeah. God, not even here. Like before and back in the day. I mean, I got to be honest with you. Back in 2012 when we started it, that would have considered an awesome show. That would have been like off the heels. Let's go to the headlines of the National Hockey League. Only 2 real big ones. Patrick Hornquist joins Pittsburgh's group of wounded. Headline from Puck Daddy, of course. Patrick Hornquist going down. Hey, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They look like they're doing what they do every year, especially late in the season. Crosby said something like the effect of, we really got to not take Pep. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so sick of the Pens.
I know you are. They've lost 2 in a row, but they're not out of it by any stretch.
Certainly, and they're going to be a problem, and they're going to take out any weak team. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they were a first-round exit. I'll tell you why. Because the East is a lot more deep than it was last year and the year before.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be – and look, they're in the bottom rung. The Rangers can take them. Montreal can beat them. Tampa Bay can beat them. And they're doing the same shit they always do. In fact, I'm calling it now. First-round exit, no matter who they draw. With the possible
5th right now.
Yeah, you know what? They could beat a Florida, maybe a Boston, but you know what? I don't even know if they could beat a Boston. No, I would not. I wouldn't even take them over Boston. So Pittsburgh.
4 takes on 5. That means they'd be drawing the New York Islanders right now.
Yeah, you want to draw them?
Bad matchup.
I will say this: the Islanders have had the last time they met, although the Islanders took it to 7 games in 2013. But this is a hockey team from that then. You know, you have the Lettys and the Boychucks now. So, yeah, Pittsburgh's in trouble. I cannot wait till they're done. I can't. I think everybody's getting sick of talking to them. And if you notice on a lot of the NHL shows, they're really not talking about Crosby as much as they used to.
No.
Yeah. Rangers honored Dale Boyle for reaching his 1,000th career NHL game. Congratulations, New York Ranger Dale Boyle, also a member of, I think it was the 03-04 Tampa Bay Lightning who won the Stanley Cup, and of course, longtime member of the. Yeah, that's right. Because he's kind of coming back home that way. Because a lot of guys on the there was. Now you got Richards and now we have St. Louis. But yeah, I think I think they won the Cup together, and of course, longtime member of the San Jose Sharks, who left this year and broke his wrist and then had a little trouble adjusting. But Dan O'Boyle has become a rock for the New York Rangers. Big part of this tremendous defense, with the possible exception of Cam Talbot. I mean, oh God. Well, I'll get into that later because we're going to do the headlines. But let's go to last night in the National Hockey League. Wings on the face of the leaderless Pens. They take that game 5-1. Cam Talbot stops 38 saves and gets the NHL best Overall, they take the Panthers 2-1. 14 wins in 17 games. Pow! Pistol hot. The Hurricanes beat the Blue Jackets 3-2 to stop a 3-game skid. Tarasenko scores a beaut. Blues take the Stars 3-0. Hammond, the Hamburglar, continues to shine as the Senators beat the Flyers 2-1 in the shootout. Congratulations, but keep it up. And then hope that Boston and Washington slip, but I don't see it. And neither does Dead on Dave, right?
Not at all.
Not at all. Sorry.
But
guys.
hey, good heart, Ottawa. Really,
good heart.
Really good heart.
Good heart, Florida. Good heart, Ottawa. I mean, that's one of the reasons I don't buy this tank bullshit. I don't buy it. And then the teams in the way bottom, maybe they should be freaking making some moves.
By the way, real quick,
Sure.
The attendance for every single game last night was over 15,000. Way to go, fucking National Hockey League.
Fantastic.
Every single game last night, attendance over 15,000. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
You know what I worry about? All the new guys coming to the game making it suck.
I know. You hate. You don't want it to grow.
I'm happy and see it. It's like a weird thing for me. Holtby stops 32 shots. They take a much-needed win over the Boston Bruins. That's a big win. Holtby shutting down the door to the Boston Bruins. Bruins, you got to start scoring more goals. You got lucky. Crosby and Malkin went out the other day.
Hope he's not a guy you want to see get hot right now either.
Tuukka looks good, though. Tuukka looks a lot better, only giving up 2 goals. Look, if goalie gives only 1-2 goals of a game, you should be able to win. But that team, that Boston, they have trouble scoring goals, and that is going to destroy them a lot worse than faceoffs will destroy the Rangers.
Tuukka's going to give him a shot, though, every game.
Tuukka's one of the best goalies in the league, if not the best goalie in the league. It's been a rough year, a lot of changes, a lot of stupid changes to the attitude, the presentation, and the identity of the Boston Bruins, and I think that did affect Tuukka Rask. Ducks beat Predators 4-2. They take sole lead of the West, and they're just a little behind the Rangers for the President's Trophy race. That's for the Ducks tonight in the National Hockey League, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Washington is at the Connor McDavid sweepstakes. Woohoo! 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Habs, Lightning have been pretty good matches lately. It was a 1-0 victory for that was for Tampa Bay last time, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, they seem to be meeting each other a lot. Potential eventual playoff matchup. 9:30 Eastern Time. The Toronto versus the Edmonton Oilers. And the late night game, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. The Arizona Coyotes take Stanley Cup champions Los Angeles Kings, who are very, 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 very much desperate for wins.
Yeah.
I hope something tells me they're going to pull it out. They're just such a strange team. And when that happens, I'm going to be like, yo, I'm quick, and get out of my crease.